The detectives devised a ruse, inviting Stephanie to assist with a case involving stolen art. Aware they were dealing with one of their own, they meticulously rehearsed and prepared for the interview. Their primary strategy was to maintain a casual tone for as long as possible, patiently waiting for the right moment to initiate the confrontation.
Stephanie, I don't know if you know my partner. Or...
Hey,
great.
Hi.
Stearns, nice to meet you.
See you guys.
How's it going?
Good.
Just milling around. Well, have a seat. I don't want to talk about this in the squad room because
okay.
I don't know who people are listening.
That's true.
And if we go to my side, everybody's always wondering what everybody else is
sure,
doing.
no problem.
Okay.
The first step the detectives take is establishing a comfortable tone with the suspect. She has just entered an interrogation room, and they quickly counter the negative connotations of the setting with a friendly demeanor. They explain that consultative meetings, such as seeking advice on an art theft, could take place anywhere, and that the last place they'd choose is an interrogation room. The reason given for using this unusual location is to avoid spreading rumors or gossip. However, the real reason is that all firearms must be checked before entering the room, and they needed the suspect to surrender her gun without raising suspicion.
But like we're talking about being busy and stuff, we've been assigned a case that we've been looking at.
Okay.
It's a new case, and reviewing the case, there's some notes to see as far as your name being mentioned.
Okay.
Do you know John Rutan?
Imagine, for just a moment, that you brutally murdered a romantic rival in a fit of jealous rage over 2 decades ago. You've carried that secret with you for years. Then, out of nowhere, you find yourself in an interrogation room, sitting directly across from 2 senior investigators. They bring up the name of the very person you killed in cold blood all those years ago.
John Rutten?
Rutan.
The investigators knew perfectly well how to pronounce John Rutten's name, but they deliberately mispronounced it to gauge the suspect's reaction. Setting aside the murder itself, John Rutten had been the second longest relationship in Stephanie's life. A psychiatrist later noted that her pause after hearing the mispronounced name was 4 times longer than it should have been. This delay was an early sign of deception, as she pretended not to have thought about John in so long, offering an excuse for her extended hesitation. In truth, his name was likely etched in her memory, and even with the slight mispronunciation, she would have recognized it almost instantly.
Right.
Oh yeah, I went to school with him.
You did?
Yeah.
How long did you know him?
Gosh, I went to school in, let's see, went to UCLA in 1978 I started, and, met him at school at the dorms.
She mentioned meeting him in the dorms but conveniently omitted the fact that they had dated for 4 years and taken numerous vacations together, even though she wasn't directly asked. A truthful person would typically offer this kind of information freely, without needing to be prompted.
For it.
Were you guys friends, close friends?
Yeah, we're very close friends. I mean, what's this all about?
Well, it's a case we're working on. It involves John, and in there, some of the statements we reviewed, there's notes and stuff that he knew you and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, we good friends. Lived in the dorms for 2 years.
You guys lived in the same dorm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Dykstra.
Okay. Were you guys just friends or anything else, or?
Yeah, we were good friends.
Yeah. Was there ever any relationship or anything that developed between you guys?
Yeah, I mean, we dated. I mean, what's this all about?
Well, it's relating to his wife.
It's unfortunate that Stephanie's face wasn't captured at this moment, as she was undoubtedly hit by the instinctive fight-or-flight response. Her brain would have released a surge of hormones, priming her to either confront the threat or escape to safety. In this instance, Stephanie chose to fight.
Okay.
Okay. Did you know her?
Not really. I mean, I knew that he got married years ago.
Did you ever meet her?
God, I don't know.
Do you know who she was or anything?
Well, let me think. God, it's been a long time ago. I may have met her. Geez.
Expressions like gosh, God, or other exclamations of surprise or strong emotion are used repeatedly throughout this interrogation. These verbal cues suggest the suspect is attempting to convey a vague memory, implying that she hasn't given the subject much thought. She's trying to create the impression that John, or anything related to him, hasn't crossed her mind since their relationship ended over 2 decades ago.
You know.
Yeah. Well, let me see. Let me ask you. You said you dated John. How long did you guys date?
I mean, are you guys, is this something?
Stephanie has been a cop for 25 years, so she's fully aware that pretending to be oblivious to the unusual turn of events would be a glaring red flag to the investigators. Time and again, it's been shown that guilty suspects often feign naivety in the face of direct confrontation, hoping to avoid addressing it altogether. In contrast, truthful individuals tend to confront the situation head-on, either refuting the accusation or, if the confrontation is subtle, seeking immediate clarification and transparency about what is being implied.
I mean, you said I was going to interview somebody about art and how you guys are.
Here's
I mean,
Stephanie, here's the situation. It's basically we knew that this, when we saw this in this chrono, that maybe there was some relationship there. That's what the chrono seemed to indicate.
The detective skillfully sidesteps Stephanie's question, offering instead a deceptively reassuring response. He makes a sharp pivot from the investigative subject to the earlier discussion about workplace rumors, redirecting her attention back to the false sense of camaraderie. Stephanie had just asked what was going on, and his response, in essence, is, "We're on your side. We're doing you a favor." This creates the illusion that they are there to help, reinforcing the idea that they are her allies rather than her interrogators.
And we didn't want to come up to you at your desk and ask those kinds of questions or do anything. You know how up there people can see what's going on if you go into an interview room or people are in there getting supplies.
Okay.
So we wanted to afford you some privacy, some confidentiality to talk about this, because we thought it might be, something, you're married to someone else, obviously, and so forth, and that you may not want to, talk about these things in that setting where someone, we don't want the rumor mill or gossip or any of that kind of stuff to start.
That's fine. I mean,
so we did this just as a means to try and speak to you in just a confidential place where where your business isn't out there for other people in your division to know about.
Whether due to shock or an unwillingness to confront the reality of the situation, Stephanie cautiously accepts the detective's reassuring response without pushing further on her initial question. Instead, she reverts to her strategy of feigning a hazy memory regarding the incriminating details, maintaining her narrative of uncertainty.
God, that's been a million years ago. I mean, what year is it now? 2009? I mean, I graduated in 82, yeah. We dated. I dated other guys. I'm sure he dated other girls.
Well, let me ask you, roughly how long would you say you guys dated?
Oh, jeez. I couldn't even say. I mean...
Notice how she begins to over-explain details that don't require clarification and weren't even prompted. This is a clear indication of hyperarousal, linked to terror management theory, TMT. The suspect veers off into unrelated tangents as a way to gain momentary relief, delving into trivial matters to escape the frightening reality unfolding before her. This behavior is quite common in interrogations where the suspect is facing serious charges, and psychiatrists view it as a subconscious coping mechanism.
I started school there in 78.
Mm-hmm.
I started UCLA in 1978.
Mm-hmm.
I graduated in 82. I don't even remember what year he graduated, if it was a year or two before me.
Okay.
I think he was a little bit older than I was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can't remember if he was born, let's say I'm born in 1960. I don't know if he was born in 58 or 59. I mean, I knew his parents, I knew his sister, his brother went to Northridge.
Mm-hmm.
His sister spent the night at my house before. Obviously, I spent the night at his house before. He probably spent the night at my house before. Well,
correct me if I'm wrong, because from what you're telling me is you guys dated while you were in college together, right?
Yeah, and probably after college. I can't. Geez, I'm trying to think when I met my husband. I met my husband when did I meet Scott? Let's see. I was teaching DARE, because I met Scott when I was teaching DARE up in Oregon, but we had long stopped, dating before that.
So you haven't talked to him for a long time?
Oh, I think I haven't talked to him in a long time. I couldn't even tell you when the last time I talked to him. I met Scott, I'm thinking in 92 maybe, April of 92. It was
Scott being your husband.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I was teaching DARE. Let's see, what year is this? We'll be married. I got married in 1996. I think I met Scott in 92. Prior to that, I couldn't tell you how long I had talked to John prior to that.
But since you met your husband, Scott, you haven't talked to him?
I mean, he may have called me once or twice before we got married.
Right.
Geez, I moved to Simi in 1994 because I lost my house in the earthquake.
Oh, really?
Quite honestly, I probably keep in contact with a few people from the dorms. We all lived on the 10th floor, and there's about 3 or 4 people I keep in contact with. There's probably like 6 or 8 of us that were all really close.
Mm-hmm. And who are those people?
Oh, geez. Diana Basta. People I still keep. I haven't been in contact with her in a long time. Mm-hmm. I mean, what's this all about? I mean,
the suspect challenges the detectives for a second time, and once again, they avoid the question. However, this time, the avoidance is more confrontational, with the detectives staying on topic and offering no reassurance. They are subtly but effectively increasing the pressure, pushing the suspect closer to a breaking point.
What ended the relationship between you and John?
It was kind of a weird relationship. I mean, we dated. I can't say that he was my boyfriend. I don't know that he would consider me his girlfriend. We dated, we did things. I played sports in college, he played basketball, his brother played basketball. It just didn't work out. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. It was like, I went out with other guys, saw other guys, I went on lots of vacations,
And once you guys split, were you guys still friends, or kind of, problems? Is it friendly, not friendly?
No, I don't think it was not friendly. I mean, we were friendly. I know that we went to Hawaii at one point. Yeah, I mean,
And you were saying that
it's 2009 now.
Had you ever met his wife?
I may have.
Do you remember her name or anything, or? Or what she did for a living, or where she worked, or anything about her?
The suspect was just asked 3 consecutive questions about the victim. During all 3, she appeared to be in a reflective state, but her facial expression noticeably changed on the 3rd question. This shift occurred because she was only pretending to reflect on the first 2 questions, as she already knew the answers. However, for the 3rd question, she was genuinely searching her memory for the correct response, revealing a true moment of reflection.
Well, I think I'm going to say that I think she was a nurse. I can't even remember how he said he met her. I mean, it's been so long ago.
Well, let me ask you, did you go to their wedding,
No, I didn't go to their wedding. No, did not go to their wedding. I couldn't even tell you what year he got married. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been a million years ago. Again, I don't understand why you're talking about some guy I dated a million years ago.
Well, do you know what happened to his wife?
Yeah, I know she got killed.
You wouldn't need to be a body language expert to see the sheer terror written across the suspect's face at this moment. She had just spoken about the victim's tragic death for the first time in what was likely over 2 decades.
What did you hear about that?
I saw a poster at work. I'm sure I spoke to him about it. I think I spoke to another friend of his about it.
And how did you first learn about that?
Jeez. Someone could have called me. I could have heard it at work. I think at one point there may have been a flyer or something. I know a good friend of his...
Were you on the job back then when that happened?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm sure I was on the job. That's why I would have heard about it with the flyer. He had a good friend, Mike Boldrick, you know.
But being that you were kind of used to see John, you know, was everything okay between you guys? I mean, there was never anything uncomfortable or anything between you and her?
8 separate witnesses testified that Stephanie confronted Sherry at the hospital where she worked, while both women were reportedly involved in an intimate relationship with John. The confrontation was described as highly aggressive, and security had to escort Stephanie off the premises. Reports indicated that Stephanie was by far the more combative of the two, and even made threats against Sherry's life.
You know, I don't know. I mean, it's been so many years. I mean, uncomfortable. I mean, I can't even remember if we had a conversation. I mean, we may have. I may have seen her at his apartment. You know, geez, how many years ago was that? I don't even know what year she, got killed.
Where was his apartment?
Observe her passive demeanor as she delivers the following truthful response.
On Roscoe.
Okay.
Yeah, Roscoe and east or west of DeSoto. Either east or west of DeSoto.
Do you know where he moved after? Did he move after he got married, or do you know? Or
now notice how her demeanor shifts from passive to frantic as she once again pretends to have a vague recollection.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Did you know where he was living, or
somewhere in the valley?
Did you ever visit him and his wife?
No.
No, never went out to, get together, dinners, anything of that nature?
No. Like I said, his sister used to come over. His sister had come to my place. I knew his brother because his brother played basketball at Northridge. In fact, I was just coming across some pictures that I just scanned from. I take a lot of photos, like 10,000, and I just did a service where I scanned everything.
After his wife died, did you talk to him again or anything? Yeah,
I mean, I did talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to him, probably his parents, probably some other friends. I'm sure I talked to him.
Yeah.
But you're not sure where he moved to after he got married?
No idea. I mean,
never went over to visit him or
I don't think.
meet his
I
wife,
don't think so. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I did. I know he lived on Roscoe for a long, long time.
And you're right.
I mean, if you guys are claiming that I'm a suspect, then, I got a problem with that.
Okay.
Okay? So, if you're doing this as an interrogation, you're saying, hey, I'm a suspect. Well, now I got a problem with, now you're accusing me of this? Is that what you're saying?
We're trying to figure out what happened, Stephanie.
Well, I'm just saying, do I need to get a lawyer if you're accusing me of this? You
don't have to. I mean,
you're
here of your own free will. I mean,
no. I know, but
you're not under arrest. You can walk out.
You can leave whenever you like.
Well, but I'm trying to give you some background of how I knew him, and now you're telling me that somebody's saying that we had this big old fight, and I don't even know what you're talking about. And I don't want to, get in trouble for something that I didn't even do, or you're saying I did something.
Okay.
Yeah, we understand.
I mean, how would you guys like it if the tables were turned on you?
I understand. No.
No, that's what we're telling you. I mean, you're free to go whenever you want. If this makes you uncomfortable and you want to,
now you're starting to make me uncomfortable.
The thing is, I mean, detectives did what they could at that time on the crime scene. Okay, and the burglary thing you're talking about, that is an angle that they looked at. But now we're looking at everything else on the case because nobody was ever arrested on the case.
I don't know that or not.
Okay. Now, what we'd like to do is, obviously, about all the DNA stuff and things of the nature that gets done on cases nowadays. If we asked you for a DNA swab, would you be willing to give us one?
Maybe. Because now
because
now I'm thinking I probably need to talk to a lawyer.
Okay.
I mean,
Well,
because I know how this stuff works, okay? Don't get me wrong, you're right, I have been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
And I wish I had been recording this because now it sounds like, there's, you're selling these people saying I'm fighting with her, and now it sounds like you're trying to, I've been doing this a long time.
yeah.
We know.
Okay? And now it almost sounds like you're trying to pin something on me.
No,
now
but-
I got that sense.
Well, what it gets to on these cases, and you know it as well as I do, our job is to identify and eliminate suspects.
I can't believe this.
So if we ask you to the point to give us a DNA sample, a buccal swab, so we can identify or eliminate you, would you be willing to do that?
Maybe.
Well,
Because I know this.
well, that's where we're at to. I mean, because right now, from looking at the evidence, it's it's possible we may have some DNA at the location,
That's great.
and we're going to do what we can to try to put this thing together. And your name's in the book. These people are pointing at you for whatever reason.
I don't know why.
And-
That's just crazy. I mean, that's absolutely crazy.
And it would be irresponsible on our part not to look at it.
I know. You guys have to do your job,
And-
and I guess I'm going to have to contact somebody. So,
That's fair.
I mean, because I know how this stuff works. I
Sure.
mean, I just can't believe it.
That's.
I
I mean,
guess-
we understand that. I mean, if we were in your position, I mean, we would feel the same way.
I just can't even believe it. I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm shocked. I'm really shocked that somebody would be saying that I did this. I mean, we had a fight, and so I went and killed her. I mean, come on.
Well,
That's,
okay.
All right.
well, thanks for giving me the courtesy. I wish I recorded it.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Stephanie, take care.
All right.
This is absolutely crazy.
Have a seat, Stephanie.
This is insane.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay. Stephanie, you know you have the right to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yes,
Anything you say may be used against you in court. Do you understand?
yes,
You have the right to the presence of an attorney before and during any questioning. Do you understand?
yes.
If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you free of charge before any questioning if you want. Do you understand?
Yes.
Do you want to talk to us right now?
No.
All right.
Okay.
This
then.
is crazy.
Okay.
This is I'm like in shock. I'm totally in shock.
The jury announced they have a verdict. We will take the verdict at this time.
People of the State of California versus Stephanie Eileen Lazarus. Case number BA 357423. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Stephanie Eileen Lazarus, guilty of the crime of murder of Sherry Rasmussen in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony, as charged in count 1 of the information. We further find the murder was of the first degree.
Your Honor, I'm John Rutten. Thank you for the opportunity to speak during this hearing. There are really no words that can describe the loss of Sherry and the whole of this experience, so it makes no sense to talk very long. It suffices to say that the Rasmussen family, my family, and Stephanie's family have been thrust into a bizarre world of disbelief and indescribable sadness. Sherry Rasmussen had a profound impact on so many people. And I was proud that she agreed to be my wife. It was impossible not to notice Sherry when she entered a room. To me, her physical presence was startling. I can clearly remember the first moment I laid eyes on her. Sherry Rasmussen was a physical presence, and my heart still races when I look at pictures of her. But Sherry was extraordinary, more for who she was than the way she looked. She was a hard worker, a consummate professional, a leader, a diplomat, forgiving, tough, and a kid at heart. Sherry's loss, the way she died, and the trial 25 years after her death has had a profound impact on many, many others. The effects are broad and span a generation, creating pain for those whose lives should have never been touched by this tragic event. Again, words are feeble tools for describing these impacts, but there are so many moments and so very many tears. And the fact that Sherry's death occurred because she met and married me brings me to my knees.
Stephanie Lazarus was sentenced to 27 years to life for the murder of Sherry Rasmussen. She is currently incarcerated in the maximum security unit at the Central California Women's Facility.